Good morning. Thank you for finding time to be with us today. The show is Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and as usual, it is a pleasure to have you on board. I trust that you are okay. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuned and watching us from. I will bring us up to date with the latest on the newspapers in the country, and then some from within Africa and outside, and then we'll get into our conversation of the day. We start with the Star newspaper. The main headline, Raila, Ruto, 60 hours of make or break. Polls projecting a tight race. Winner will depend on turnout and undecided voters. That story is on page 4 and 5 on the Star newspapers. Strangers got access to IEBC voter register, updated records. That story is on page 2, and that is according to KPMG audit. And then, of course, the main pictorial is Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga on a rally in Bukungu Stadium, Kakamega County yesterday. And then just below that is Deputy President William Ruto at Kerugoya Stadium in Kirinyaga County yesterday. Haji orders probe of Joho Junet over Ruto video. That story is on page 4. And just a reminder, today we are counting 4 days to our general election that is slated for the 9th of August. That is next Tuesday. Kenya will be going to its election. And the Standard newspaper, new bid to block Ruto allies in race. Can persons with cases in court or unresolved integrity questions be cleared to vie for public office? This is the question of the heart of a new case seeking a review of Chapter 6 interpretation, and which targets DP William Ruto's UDA party, its candidates in Tuesday's polls, and others facing questions. That story is on page 6. And then final act inside the president's hectic diary. President Uhuru Kenyatta has been very, very busy. And that story is on page 8. How Mitumba entered our creative economy. That is on page 15. And audit by KPMG and Arts ghost IEBC officials. That is on page 5. US issues Kisumu advisory. And of course, a lot of my people are not very happy with this advisory, and a lot of Kenyans indeed. Chase Bank bosses fined 36 million Kenya shillings. That is there. And then the Daily Nation, the main headline, playing dirty. As social media presidential candidates and other aspirants have unleashed bloggers meant to smear their opponents, push propaganda, and sometimes settle scores. There has been personal attacks, there has been fear-mongering, there has been, we've seen duel between President Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy Raila Odinga. They've all been caught up in this wrestling match with Ruto that has gone to the dogs. And that is according to this story. And then Gachagua isn't fit to vie. Activist claiming court suit. That story is on page 8. And from Universal to Soul Generation, that is on the entertainment scene. And so that is what we have. Let me see what else we have in some of the papers from across the region. We start with The Guardian from Nigeria. Funding insecurity stall, $2.8 billion AKK project gas export. The Nation from Nigeria as well. PDP Board of Trustees fails to resolve Atiku-Wike rift. The Guardian from Nigeria revealed the right, not from Nigeria, but the UK. The far-right web radicalizing UK children. That is there. And then the Daily Telegraph, still from the UK, water plant that could prevent horse ban, secretly mothballed. And Newsday, voters roll perfect. That is according to Zimbabwe Electoral Commission there. Also, Zimbabwe is gearing for its elections sometimes next year. And Daily News, ZANU-PF assails Chamisa CCC. And Daily Monitor from Uganda, government's 7-point plan to end rights abuses. Now, that should be an interesting read. That story is on page 4. And the new Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister, Mr. Norbert Mao, in his first appearance before MPs yesterday, outlined a 7-point blueprint tackle allegations of rights abuses by mainly security forces and other state actors. And some of these are not even allegations. There has been some proof of human rights abuses in Uganda. Let's see how they will tackle that. New vision still from Uganda. 500 head teachers asked to be demoted. Okay. The Citizen from Tanzania. North Mara hit with 40 billion Tanzania shillings court order. And then Daily News from Tanzania. White Zara upgrade vital. And the New Times, I think this is Rwanda. Kenya envoy reassures Rwandan businesses ahead of elections. Okay, so thank you so much for that. So that you're now up to date. Some of the headlines from Kenya and also from across the continent and outside. Right now, we are joined by Kiptanui Sevania from Nakuru. Kiptanui, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Morning to my fellow correspondents. Good afternoon, evening, depending on where you are watching us from.
Okay.
After coming to you live from Nakuru County, thank you for having me on this show this morning. Thank you.
All right, nice to have you, and I apologize for my hoarse voice. I'm recovering from a terrible flu I've had. Not completely healed, but I can manage, so I apologize for that. And we're also joined by Jevan Karanja from all the way from Nanyuki. Jevan, a very good morning to you. Well, as we wait for Jevan, we're also joined by Gladwell Kiragu. Gladwell, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to my fellow panelists. Good morning to our viewers coming live from Kiambu County.
All right. Yeah, today you're in Kiambu County. And also, last but certainly not least, we are joined by Douglas Kirimi, all the way from Meru County. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam, and also to my friend Kiptanui, Sevia, and also Gradual Kerago, my friend Karanja, and also to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from. Thank you for having me on the show, Miriam. I know they're watching our country. It's an election time, and the people expect us to have a free, transparent, and a credible, and most importantly, democratic election. And also, we move on as we vote on Tuesday next week. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So we just start our conversation this morning, and we shall look at the main headline on the Standard newspaper. And let's see. Madeira Member of Parliament, Rigathi Gachagua, has been sued in a constitutional case seeking an interpretation on the application of ethics and integrity law. At the heart of the case filed before High Court Justice Thande Mugure is whether persons who are before a court facing criminal charges or have unresolved integrity questions should be cleared to vie or locked out until their cases are settled. Besides, Rigathi, who is the United Democratic Alliance UDA deputy presidential candidate, Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja, Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke, Nakuru West Member of Parliament Samuel Arama, and Marsabit Governor Mohammed Ali Mohammed have been sued. Others are Tharaka Nithi Governor Muthomi Njuki, former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero, Garissa Governor Ali Bano, Tana River Governor Godana Dado, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, and Malindi MP Aisha Jumwa, Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi, Laris John Mburu, and Migori Governor Zachary Obado. They have also sued United Democratic Alliance and Attorney General Kihara Kariuki. On Gachagua, the court is being asked to determine if he qualifies to be on the ballot as UDA presidential candidate William Ruto's running mate after an anti-corruption court ordered him to forfeit 200 million Kenya shillings to government as they were proceeds of graft. Gachagua has since filed a notice to appeal the verdict by Justice Esther Maina. So let's just start our conversation there, and I'll start with you, Kiptanui. What are your thoughts on this new lawsuit?
Thank you, Miriam. It is actually indeed a great morning. And I happened that I also see the headline. Miriam, it is actually a constitution which was promulgated in 2010. And most everybody who is in office must have sworn in to defend this constitution. So it is actually constitution in chapter 11 on integrity, which is barring these people who have been convicted from actually buying Miriam, it is imperative, it is wrong for these people to be cleared by IPC or other agencies to fight, and yet we have thousands of people who are apart from fighting based on the integrity issues. Miriam, I actually applaud those people who have gone to court, not only to block these thieves, but for proper interpretation of Chapter 11. Because Miriam, in future, somebody will be stealing and will be fined for these seats. So what actually are we teaching this country? Is this country a banana republic? No, we have a constitution which was actually promulgated in 2010, which every one of us, even if you are being appointed today, you swore to defend that constitution. Miriam, with the same lawyers who are actually, the same activists who have gone to seek for interpretation of this constitution, Miriam, or to seek for interpretation, to seek whether these people stand. What are the disqualifications of becoming a leader in this country? One is Chapter 6. If you've been convicted, you've been jailed for 6 months, and you see, Miriam, these are the things that are in public domain. Like the aspirant for member of parliament for Nakuru West, where we reside from, not far from where I am right now. He was convicted recently, on a recent. Gachagua was told to forfeit the 200 million. Miriam, this is a country which is governed by the rule of law. We cannot agree on that. The same court which nullified BBI, and these people, they jump up and say it is Nimungu Gamefanya. Let them be part from fine, because in future one person can go to court and say, why did you? Well, it is now, if they are being allowed to find Miriam, it will open a lot of discussions on the other people who are not being cleared, who are part based on Chapter 6. And because Miriam, to restore the confidence of this country, to restore the confidence to voters that this country is governed by the rule of law, let them be part. I submit.
All right. Thank you so much, Kiptanui. Jevan Karanja, I don't know if you were there and you can hear me. Good morning. Okay. Gladwell.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jevan. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. So we do have a case in court right now, and the petitioners are seeking to challenge some of the candidates that are already their names are on the ballot papers, and Kenyans will be voting for these people, but especially Gachagua. And these petitioners are saying the fact that he could not explain that over 200, I think it was 202 million Kenya shillings that the court refused to give him, because he could not establish how he actually acquired this money. So the court ruled that these were proceeds of corruption. That in itself should be an indictment, and that should essentially make Gachagua unfit to run in that position that he's running on, or any other position as a in public office.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam. And I think first of all is to give a thumbs up to those patriot Kenyans who have seen the interest, who have put the interest of this country as a priority. Because at the end of the day, all Kenyans have a stake, we have a say in the governance of this country. We are the biggest stakeholders when it comes to elections and when it comes to governance of a country. And that is why those 12 disciples of rule of law, of patriotism, have decided to go to a court of law so that they can have an interpretation on what should be done. But it's very clear, Miriam, in our constitution, chapter 6, on leadership and integrity, that a man who seemed not to be fit to hold public office, who seemed to have an altered reputation, is not fit even to think of vying in the first place. And in this case, putting Rigathi Gachagua as an illustration shows that this is a man who has been convicted. He has been found guilty of embezzling 200 million from public offers, and because he holds those criminal records, the best thing to do is to ensure that he is not on the ballot as a running mate to Deputy President William Ruto. And I think the court will give us justice, the court will deliver a good ruling that will ensure that the people of Kenya will have justice. and the people of Kenya will have good leadership as we head to the 9th of August polls. But on the same medium, we have seen before our court being an impediment to the rule of law and to the governance of this country. We have seen corruption cases taken to our courts and taking years before they are concluded or before they give us a direction or before they make a determination on those cases. Therefore, I think this time round, the court will do us justice, the court will run with speed and give us a good jurisdiction on what needs to be done when matters get to that point. Because as we speak now, Rigathi Gachagua is already a candidate, has been cleared by the IBC. And we need to know between IBC and our courts, who has a say when it comes to matter election? Because if IBC can clear a candidate, then I think there is an overlapping of duties or powers between the IBC and our courts. And I think this is something that should be settled once and for all, so that in future we avoid this kind of confusion. Because we have seen candidates cleared by IBC, then given a go-ahead by our courts. And we have seen candidates denied the clearance to file, but given a go-ahead by our courts. Therefore, this confusion is something that needs to be settled. And we need to know who has a final say when it comes to the clearance of this candidate. Because there's a lot of confusion mixed up, because you have seen candidates like Karongo Wagangwa of Kiambu cleared to run for the senatorial seat in Kiambu, but at the same time, Mike Sonko denied the same chance to vie as a governor in Mombasa. Therefore, this is a matter that has come at the right time, and as Kenyans, we are hoping to have justice in our country. But at the end of the day, Miriam, Kenyans being the biggest stakeholders, they have a say in the governance of the country. They are the people who vote, not our courts. If Kenyans vote bad leadership, Miriam, I think they should go ahead and suffer in the hands of these corrupt leaders, because we cannot be complaining that we have corrupt leaders, but we go at the end of the day, we go and vote them. Let's vote good leaders, but if majority vote for the bad leadership, then let us all suffer in the hands of this bad leadership, because at the end of the day, we are the greatest stakeholders, we are the people who have the votes, and we are the people who can deny these people a chance to go to public offices. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I apologize for that. Like I said, I'm still recovering from a terrible flu, but clearly I'm not fully recovered, but we will manage for the next couple of minutes. And so Gladwell, and I think we talked about this after the court made that verdict and, charged that Gachagua, from the evidence they had, there's no way Gachagua could prove that this money was gotten in a way that is traceable. So the court concluded that this money were proceeds of graft, and so that money was given to the Assets and Recovery Commission there. And Gachagua has since filed a notice to appeal the verdict by Justice Esther Maina. So that means he has not exhausted all the legal avenues available to him. So essentially, as much as he was indicted, because that is what that ruling was, but still, because he has filed an appeal, so he still has a room to and a chance to run for this office that is running as the running mate of Deputy President William Ruto. So this case that have been filed by these petitioners, will it see the light of day, looking at how our constitution is today?
Thank you so much, Miriam. Let me start by saying, this money that Gachagua was found with, for sure, let us be honest, even though he's given how many days for him to explain to the court how he attained the money, definitely he cannot. And I was reading actually something that the PS Karaja Kibisho said yesterday, that Gachagua was also sacked from the Ministry of Interior for absenteeism. He never resigned. He was fired for dissertation of duty and mismanagement of relief of food. So, Miriam,
okay, we seem to have missed you there, Gladwell. Can you hear me? Good morning. Well, we have a problem with Gladwell's connection, so I'll just go to Douglas. When we're able to have her back, she will come and continue with her thoughts. Douglas Kirimi, good morning to you. And what is your...
Miriam.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so as I was saying, that is something that with the UDA team, and let me say with the deputy president and somebody like Rigathi Gachagua, I mean the accountability is something that is needed, but unfortunately these are leaders that some people want in the office, whereby the accountability is very low. Gachagua, as I've told what Karaja Kibisho said, that even with the mismanagement of food, I mean some of these basic things are common sense, Miriam, because at the end of it all, it's about our citizens of Kenya. And I have said him as though Rigathi Gachagua is given 100 more days to come for him to explain how he attained the money. Definitely he cannot, because Miriam, this is money that belongs to the citizen. But unfortunately in Kenya, it is whereby the corrupt are actually given permission to go on ahead and actually vie for the positions. I wish our country was different, whereby if you have a corrupt issue, despite how many more days remaining, that you cannot vie, because this could save us. I mean, this could save our face of Kenya from this thing of always being termed as corrupt. I wish we had a rule whereby you are found with any scandal, most on corruption, that you cannot buy. But unfortunately, most of these people, the likes of Sonko and others, they're also in line going to buy, and they have been cleared. Others, they're also forcing their way in. So, Miriam, about Rigathi Gachagua, I wish we had a more strong ruling whereby he could not buy, because after all, when he gets into government, the same thing he has been doing is the same thing he will continue doing. He won't change his way. Actually, he will have more the powers being a deputy president, for instance, whereby they will pocket more than they have pocket when he's actually outside.
Yeah, but glad you do understand that the courts will only rule based on the laws that we have. The court does not create these laws. It is Parliament that is supposed to make laws that are punitive as far as the fight against corruption is concerned. But since a lot of them are culprits of corruption, a lot of them have these cases looming over them. So maybe we will continue in this rat race where we will keep acting like we're fighting corruption, but because the laws we have in place does not allow for us to fully tackle corruption head on, so we will keep having this merry-go-round. The people who have been indicted, like Syriza, Member of Parliament, he was found guilty. He was able to appeal, and without shame, he's running again. And there are Kenyans who will still go and vote for him. So it is the laws that we have that are flawed. So as much as there should be some very punitive judgments from these courts, but a lot of these laws, they're basing them, a lot of these judgments, they're basing them on the Constitution, what we have. And what the Constitution says, until all legal avenues have been, explored, this person still can be elected. And I think that is the place we need to look at. But who will look at it? Parliament. Are they likely to change that part of the law, perhaps? I'm not sure. So maybe that is something Kenyans should start looking and pushing for, if we really are serious about the fight against corruption. Douglas Kirimi. So let me just read us through some of the petitioners and what they are seeking from the court. The petitioners want the court to interpret the law on ethics and integrity. And I think at this point, Gladwell, I do acknowledge what you're saying. Because we are confused. Because when you look at Chapter 6 of Kenya's constitutions and on constitutional leadership and integrity, it is very clear. But the same constitution in another chapter also takes the powers. So you don't know which is which. The constitution is not complementing itself the way it was written. And so these petitioners want the court to interpret the law on ethics and integrity. And then they argue that IEBC has failed to uphold the law by clearing persons who have either criminal cases in court, whose integrity has been questioned, and others convicted, like in the case of Waluke, I suppose. And they also want the court to set aside a judgment that allowed President Uhuru and his deputy to vie despite being in the ICC. And I think that did set some precedents there. They argue that there's a need to determine whether Rigathi can hold public office after High Court ordered him to forfeit 200 million Kenya shillings to the state. They are also seeking orders to block him to assume office if Ruto and he are ejected. Justice Thandi directed them to serve the other parties and appear in court on the 5th. I suppose that is supposed to be tomorrow. Today is 4th, so that case is supposed to be, I think, the hearing is tomorrow. Douglas Kirimi, your thoughts on this new petition?
Miriam, I'm sorry that as a country, we have one of the robust, progressive, and also most advanced constitutions according to the Western allies and also pseudo allies for the Republic of Kenya in 2010 and beyond, when they said that this constitution is the most progressive, advanced, and also one of the constitutions that is also said to be very democratic. Excuse me. But I think, as a person, I do not approve some of the clauses in this constitution. I believe this constitution has created the budget economy for us, a budget economy for us, a budget political economy for us, a budget social economy for us, and also a budget environment in such a way that a criminal can wake up tomorrow and run for office and become governor. A drug dealer can wake up tomorrow and become a governor, a celebrated governor, because he has extra money that his profit that he is making from his drug trade. He can buy his way out from the poor people's hearts by giving them cooking flour and also maize flour, chapati, and also paint the whole slum with clean drinking water, and also make his own county government ineffective. This constitution, Miriam, has made criminals who have taken over this country's national serious board and taken away every other shilling that is meant to pay farmers and embodied them such that they have now become powerful members of parliament, and they occupy powerful security committee as members. They occupy foreign affairs committee in parliament. They occupy important committees that can discuss their conduct and scatter any information that can come to the public, or even in the public gathering in parliament, in the chamber where these discussions happen before, because they happen in the committee of National Assembly, Senate, before they even come to the fore, Miriam. These people have also gone out from, after profiteering from the budget economy that has been created by this Constitution 2010, or the loopholes that have been created. They have now gone out of their way to buy their way into parliament, Senate, and actually scatter every plan, even from the committees of parliament. The work of committees of parliament has been reduced to nothing in the name of upholding the constitution, whereas all they have done is also profiteer from the same budget economy that has created these loopholes in this constitution, Miriam. I believe criminals had an hand in the creation of this constitution. In the making of this constitution, criminals had an opportunity to sneak crosses that will always get them scot-free, that we cannot be able to punish corruption effectively, that we cannot be able to deal with corruption decisively. For example, a gubernatorial candidate in Meru has had the 6 cases of corruption, rat grabbing, and other issues, Miriam. But this person is running and telling the people of Meru, I'm coming to rescue. There is a sitting governor I know somewhere in Mount Kenya. Several governors in Mount Kenya, out of 11, over 9 of them have corruption, economic corruption cartel cases or economic crimes in court, Miriam. They have rat grabbing cases in court, over 9 governors, Miriam. Those cases are active in court, and some of them they have appealed. But at the end of the day, Miriam, what kind of this nonsense we are treating our country to? If the next government does not change the constitution, Miriam, strengthen our constitution, remove those clauses that continue protecting criminals, then as a country, we would have wasted an opportunity through the BBI. We would have wasted an opportunity to punish these budget economy profiteers, people that are coming on Tuesday, next week, Miriam, to continue destroying the very fulcrum of our country, which is the economy of our country, because we are a consumer economy, Miriam. These are the same people who are coming to profiteer from county funds, continue profiteering from CDF,
continue profiteering from the executive office of the president. These are the same people that are going to invoke the name of the president of the Republic of Kenya, like the way William Ruto did the same with Rashid Echeza, invoking the name of the deputy president in the executive office of the president to continue profiteering, Miriam. These are the same people. I want the courts to speed up the case and make sure that they hear this petition, Miriam, so that we can be able to determine, even if these people are voted in, the people who are number 2 in their respective constituencies or counties can now take over offices, Miriam, so that we can start cleaning this mess in our country. If we are truly a democratic country, if we truly patriotic to our soil, to our fatherland, to also to our flag, and also to the sweat that the people of Kenya continue toiling day and night to make a living, we must be able to deal with the corruption decisively. The corruption cartels in this country should be shown the door on 9th, Miriam. We cannot take the corruption cartel issue on the ballot and not deal with it decisively, Miriam. If for us as a country, we don't deal with this, Miriam, and change the constitution of the Republic of Kenya, even if it is about dealing with the corruption cartels alone, this is what the country needs, Miriam. This is the kind of BBI we need. We need to deal with thieves decisively, Miriam. I do not understand. I've seen you wondering how Major John Waruke gone out of his way. Now he's campaigning on a Jubilee ticket and he's on his way winning back in Sirisia constituency, Miriam. What kind of a country is this? We have people like Sonko who have been convicted for stealing billions of shillings from the city county, running to Mombasa. Now he's been stopped by courts. We have so many people. Mithika Rintuli of Meru. We have so many people in this country, Miriam. Our country has gone to dogs, and the only way we can do that is to correct that through another BBI, a radical BBI, a radical rapid results initiative as a BBI, so that we can be able to build the bridges and correct these particular issues of corruption cartels in this country, Miriam. Because if we do not, we are going to have issues in this country. For example, Miriam, as I conclude on my point, a person like Aisha Jumwa, people in Kilifi are saying we are going to vote for the first woman governor of Kilifi County, but she has been accused of misappropriating CDF funds, and she has also killed a person in a by-election in Kilifi County. This is a killer. This is a murderer who is supposed to be in jail, but says I am not guilty until proven so. The courts have also filed a case against her, and we are now being told to vote for her. Then she can continue killing the people of Kilifi and profiteering from the county as the boss, Miriam. If you cannot deal with a mere member of parliament, what if she has now acquired billions from the county? Well, how are you going to deal with her? Our courts should be strengthened, corruption cartels dealt with. The next government should decisively help us deal with corruption cartels, because the people of Kenya have an opportunity of going to the ballot and making sure, Miriam, we deal with the corruption cartels as an issue. As voters, we vote. Then the next government, if it doesn't work on that, Miriam, then as a country, the country is gone to the dogs, Miriam. If we are not going to deal with that, we are done and dusted as a country. There is no constitution, there is no nothing. If the people cannot move around without being killed by Aisha Jumwa, if our money cannot move around at the National Serious Board without being stolen by likes of Major John Waruke and others, if our monies cannot reach our counties safely without senators and governors colluding and also conniving to steal and profiteer from our county funds, we have no country. We are done and dusted, Miriam, if we don't deal with corruption cartels in this country. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So we do remember the names that were forwarded to the EACC for vetting. The names, a few individuals that had some cases, and IEBC forwarded these names to the EACC to go through, get some information, and see if they can be cleared to vie. And the verdict was returned to the IEBC, and the EACC said about 241 candidates who were subsequently gazetted and were not cleared, because of integrity issues in line with our Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution. But IEBC, in its wisdom, thought EACC, the Corruption and Ethics Commission that is supposed to be looking in matters ethics, in this country, your findings are not really important. So What we shall do then is we shall interpret this law differently and clear these individuals. So that is essentially what IEBC did. So this chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution, is it so hard to understand? Kiptanui Savani, I'm sure you've read it. I'm sure you've gone through it. How do you understand this chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution? Kiptanui. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. I'm sorry. What I understand, maybe I've not gone through the Constitution, Miriam, but let me say the following about Chapter 6 on integrity. You see, Miriam, maybe when you've been convicted, you don't qualify actually to fight for any seat, or you might have been jailed for 6 months. You don't qualify. But in other words, Miriam, most Kenya, as my sister Gladwell Gagwas just said, Kenya, we are still far, because we are still far, Miriam, in a manner that we still entertain the people who does not meet Chapter 6 of Constitution on integrity. So why are we still far, Miriam? Is because we not only even the voters. We cannot blame the voters, or we cannot blame other people. We blame these institutions which are supposed to guide us, like judiciary. Those people, somebody like me who is not a lawyer, and somebody like who is not even a judge. Miriam, you see the same money, or the same things that are money that has been stolen, which are the proceeds of corruption. They are taken to these judges. You remember how many judges have been accused of corruption? So many of them. And then all of a sudden they are clearing these people when they actually know that these people, they don't qualify, they don't meet the Chapter 6, they don't meet the integrity issues, Miriam. So it is a wake-up call, Miriam, to the next government to put out these structures. Let me congratulate the people who have gone to court. It is not a witch hunt, the way I saw somebody saying. It's not a witch hunt. We were in this country when these people have been convicted. We were in this country when Maluka was taken even to Kondiaka prison. But what happened? How was he cleared? Who cleared him? So there is something, Miriam, that we need to actually see when we are doing constitutional amendment on some other issues of this constitution. This issue, Miriam, whereby you go to court, and then you are convicted, then you appeal, then you go back to fight for this. When you get to Parliament or to Senate or to the Deputy President, Miriam, most of it is difficult for somebody who is a member of Parliament to be taken to court sometimes. Look, for example, Miriam, the case between the member of Parliament from West and those people whom they claim this guy took their land and they sold. It has dragged in this court for some time. Why? Because when you are sitting member of Parliament, you are in a position to bribe. You are in a position to do so many things. So, in my view, Miriam, let us actually see when we are going for constitutional amendment, when we want to review our constitution, let us put these structures and see how we are going to do it. And also, member of Parliament. Somebody said there is a problem in Parliament. Why? It is because today, Miriam, we fought for somebody like Honorable Oscar Sudi, who happens to be MP for Kapseret, who has been accused not only he has not been in school, but for forging documents. Johnson Sakaja, our brother from Koskei, who is even hiding the name Koskei, who is saying we have not even called Sakaja, called Atur, to conceal or to hide this shame on him. You see, these are the people, when you give an opportunity, what do you think they are going to do in Parliament? They are going to shoot down those bills that are touching them in the subsequent years to come. Miriam, there is something I want to comment right now, apart from what we are discussing in this conversation. Miriam, when Douglas was taking over, when Douglas was actually contributing, Miriam, I happened that I watched what William Ruto is saying in Karen. Miriam, it is unfortunate that I watched it short before I came here, before I came to this television now. Miriam, it is unfortunate that William Ruto is accusing the aspirant MP for Choro constituency, who is Mheshimiwa Kiuna and Jenga Mungai of Molo of inciting, of even planning violence. Miriam, let me tell you, because it happened that I have visited those almost 80% of the villages around there. This is the cosmopolitan area, Miriam, and it is known. It has been a place where violence has been erupting after every 5 years. And why is it that these people are so much interested in Joro? In Joro, I told you last time, Miriam, it consists of two words which is purely challenging. That is Naswet, and Naswet is partly Okie community and Kipsigis community. So, the Okie were the original inhabitants of Naswet because they were from the slopes of Mau Forest. But after the Kipsigis migrated from Kericho and Bomet, they were buried in 1997 and go way back. The forest was still intact. They have gone there, they have invaded the forest. So there is a problem there because Kipsigis are in UDA and Okiega in Azimio, they are partying Raila Odinga. So you see, there are discrepancies from there. You see, some years back, I think in 2020, they were killing each other and hiding themselves in those means because of land. You just go to Mauche. The word Mauche means Mauche Balungu. Mau is Mau where there, and Chebalungu is where Isaac Gupta ferried these people in early 1992, 1997 to come. It was actually a forest then. Now, Miriam, why is it that my brother, why is it that William Certificate are actually lying that these people who are, Juna has been a member of parliament 10 years, all right? Jenga Mangaya has been a member of parliament. But you see, in 1992, Miriam, where there were a lot of clashes in Molo and those parts of Lare, where was William Ruto? Was it not the one who was inciting people with this deputy? So I want to call the security agencies. Miriam, let us not take those press conferences which is currently happening in Karen as if it is a joke. Miriam, I want to encourage the security agencies who are listening to this election and who are watching us. Even if we've been deployed, these security agencies who are with the TSU and security around here, there is something that these people don't know. One is that recently, at the course of the week, I told you, and you saw in Mrs. Kuria's platform, Facebook platform, saying, Chief from Maunaro, Chief from Kihingo, who happens to be Kikuyu? Why is it not mentioning Chief from Sururu? Sururu from Sururu to Maunaro is less than 1 kilometer. And that chief who is a Kalenjin and from Mauchi and Nasser were in the meeting. They were in the meeting, all of them with the other chiefs. Why is it that they are not been mentioned that we went to those meetings so that we find people? We don't know, and we commend them. The UTA wing of this coalition, Miriam, have known that. Have realized that they are not winning. They have realized that Nakuru is a Simio. They have realized that Kikuyus are on the Chanuka and they cannot be. Why? Charity Kazambi, who happens to be a Meru and she's married to a Kalenjin man called Chepon, is the current MP. She has taken all development to her backyard and left these people in Lare, Kiingo, Maunaro, you see even under the block. So if these people say we are not voting for you because you have not developed our area, what are they incited anybody? And you see, when you say the government is using actually, it's using its own means to incite people so that they go to come up with violence. Miriam, I hope these people are listening this carefully. Some months ago, post-election violence victims who are living in Pan Forest, I told you recently that Pan Forest, a school called Rorik was pressed to ashes in 2007, 2008. When Kinuti called these people to come and write statements, it was not calling them to come and write statements because somebody was being taken to ICC. These are the people, Miriam, they have not gone back to their farms. These are the people, Miriam, they have not been compensated. Thousands of people, almost 100,000 integrated IDPs who were not captured during the settlement of 2013 by Ministry of Devolution. Miriam, are living in still integrated in these villages. They are not going back to their farms. I told you when I was in Molo recently. So they went to DCI to write statement that I will used to live in Loriki, plot number 1507, but I'm not blowing my farm. I'm not living there. I just live in my farm is still there, but somebody has occupied. Where was the problem? Now that a man of deputy president who is a deputy president of this country who has been there since that time up to now is coming up and telling us that he wants to. Last time he called post-election violence victim to come and write statement. Those are the people, Miriam, were supposed to be paid 400,000, but they were paid 200,000, others were paid 50,000. When we asked what happened is that the discrepancies of this was initiated in current. William Ruto phoned them and they cheated them. Okay, fine. Chukueni hii pesa because we have, the government is broke, we don't have somebody else, something else. Miriam, somebody who was living in Toriki, who had actually built his house from 1992, which at a cost of 5 million, was raised down, and somebody is still occupying his land. Somebody in Kamoyo is in Fan Forest, shamba yake mtu ameingia na akakatakata kabeche zake. Juzi mwingine ameenda akakakata mahindi zake. So when these people, the people who are spread leaflets, Juzi, CS Matiang'i say they have been arrested, and so recently they were arraigned in court. So I condemn whatever is happening in Karen. I condemn it with a lot of energy. Let us take care.
Okay. Thank you so much for that information, Kiptanui. And I think you've introduced us to our next topic, which will not dwell so much in. I think all of us have seen that video that has circulated, whose content is considered to be hate speech. And because of the laws we have in this country, we're not even allowed to repeat what was said. According to the Communications Act, the media laws in this country. And that's why you see there are a lot of these things that these politicians or anybody else will say in these platforms, but you can never hear them being repeated in any reputable media house. Because if you repeat them, then you will be charged the same way, from like you are the source, the same way the source of that content will be charged, or the person who uttered or wrote those hate speech or those words that are not proper, you will be charged in a similar fashion because you used your platform to further fuel hate speech. And I know we are at a place where things are very blurry and the line is becoming thinner every day. And sometimes you look at some information online and you don't know, is this true? Is this not? And so now Haji orders probe of Joho and Junet over Ruto video. DPP Nordin Haji has asked Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai to investigate Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho and Suna East MP Junet Mohammed over a doctored video published on their Twitter handles. And I will not repeat the content of that video, but I watched it, and as a Kenyan, owing from where we've been as a country, and knowing too well that a lot of Kenyans right now are really going through serious traumas because of the experiences they've had in every electioneering period. So you would think that a person of sound mind would know that there's certain types of content you can't share, however much of a statement you want to make. You can't do that because the minute I saw that video and others that have been making rounds, I wonder, what does Kenyans who live in this particular area, so who are targeted by this kind of information and are already traumatized from the experiences in this area, if they went through this video or this content, how is that helping them? Are we not feeling more, fear? Are we not feeling more anger? Are we not feeling more, hate amongst Kenyans? So we will not talk about the content of that. As I said, we can't do that. Otherwise, we will be sued together with Joho and Junet. We are not allowed to. But just when you look at just...
My remark on that, let's go back to the chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution, because it's all about the leadership and integrity. And the law is predicted upon the belief that state officers are the nerve center of the republic and carry the highest level of responsibility in the management of state affairs. And therefore, their conduct should be beyond reproach. But Miriam, what are we seeing now? I mean, sometimes I miss the back time era over the late Moi, whereby even a cartoon could be an issue. You're not supposed to have these cartoons more so political. It was an issue. You could be prosecuted. But what is happening now, Miriam? Currently, with our leaders, they can speak anything. They can talk anything they wish, and they walk out free. And this is about leadership and integrity. That is what our Kenyan leaders lack. Integrity. Leadership is not their first name, is not their second name. No, they just act for the sake, I'm just a governor, I'm just an MP. And that's how we can see even the countries, the counties are actually not progressing as they're supposed to be because of the leadership that we have, because of the integrity of these people, which is very low. I've not even watched the video, and the reason why nowadays I don't watch such videos is because most of these videos turn out to be PR. Most of these videos you're even ashamed to open, to listen in public. And Miriam, with such people, and that's what I'm saying, even from the highest top, somebody like the deputy president, for example, he has also given his team a go-ahead whereby they can insult. So in Kenya, let us say that insults have become the order of the day from these leaders. And that's why I'm saying in our constitution, with the next government, we need actually, if not to change the whole thing, but there's some things that we need actually to add into our constitution. For example, if we are caught insulting, or if you're caught spreading hate speech, that a particular an action should be taken against you. But now, let's see what happens to Junet and Joho. The case is there, yes, but Miriam, trust you me, these people won't be arrested, and that is what is motivating even the young upcoming generation. Because if so and so can actually comfortably come outside here and spread hate speech, Miriam, we are some of us people, we have not healed even from that, and that's why I always, even talking of the post-violence election, it doesn't do as good as Kenyans. There's somebody who remembers, who maybe comes across such a discussion and get goosebumps because he or she was highly affected by the war. So some of these things, and that's why we say, let us bury the past. We can't completely forget it, but at this point, even the way politicians are fighting each other, some things should not be brought up at this time. Let our Kenyans vote in peace. And that's why we are saying, as we're only 4 days to election, the only thing we are advocating for is peace, 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 and nothing else. We are past this hate speech, we are past intimidation, and we are past so many things, Miriam. Because after all, these leaders are not kids, they are mature people, Miriam.
The same story on the front page of the Daily Nation, that is the main story. Playing dirty, social media presidential candidates and other aspirants have unleashed bloggers meant to smear their opponents, push propaganda, and sometimes settle scores. And on personal attacks, campaigns have thrown manifestos to the wind and resorted to personal attacks against opponents, and fear-mongering calls for voter turnout have turned to either scaremongering to get competitors not to vote or hate-mongering to push those in support. And of course, the presidential duo, Uhuru Kenyatta, who backs frontrunner Raila Odinga for the top job, is caught up in a wrestling match with Ruto that has gone to the dogs. And skeletons in closets, Ruto and Raila are upping the ante in the 4 days to the elections, with each calling out the other for past sins and historical mischief. And following the air 4 days to the general elections this year, the leading candidates have abandoned their manifestos for a pig fight, with their opponents tearing at each other with unsubstantiated claims of moral corruption, impropriety, dishonesty, and outright treachery, and dramatically raising political temperatures. So while they do this to garner the support of Kenyans, they don't understand that even long after the elections, these seeds that they're busy sowing right now will start growing. They're watering these seeds. And as you clearly said, Gladwell Kirago, even the thought of, election violence is already sending, shivers because of maybe your past experience or somebody that was affected in the past elections, and the kind of unfortunate episodes that we've had in this country. And so as much as they want to play dirty, but at the expense of who and at the expense of what? And is it about time that Kenyans started pushing back on some of these fear mongers and hate speakers? Paul, I see you've joined us. Good morning. Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. Even from our local levels, we need to also start from our local levels before we get even to national politics. people like Kereito Murungi and Kawira Mwangaza and others, we would find a whole governor who is a sitting governor, insulting their opponents, and you have a record to defend. You have a record to defend yourself. People like senatorial candidates here in Meru you've been a member of parliament for 10 years, but you find time to insult new entrants into the race, people who actually, Miriam, have done nothing to you to warrant the kind of insults that we find around. For example, I've seen one of the leading senatorial candidates in Meru, Dr. Rosemary Getuma. She cannot insult a person to save her life. But our opponents are insulting her daily on a daily basis on basis of she's a woman, she's not capable and all that. But at the end of the day, I believe that this is what is going to happen, that people are not going to vote for insults, people are not going to vote for drama, and also people are not going to vote for innuendos in this election, Miriam. I believe that in this election that we have an opportunity to vote for leaders that are going to set the agenda of our counties and also the agenda of our the agenda of our counties and also the agenda of our nation. People like Raila Odinga, people like William Ruto. We cannot have a country, Miriam, where people are insulting each and every one of us when we are not in the interest of insulting people and all that, responding to insults and everything that goes in between there. Because, Miriam, I do not get and wrap my mind around it. Because how a presidential candidate just veers out of his presidential manners, and I found William Ruto to be said by the people across the country that his behaviors in recent days or recent weeks and recent months is very unpresidential. You wake up in the morning and insult our old president, asking him not to kill your children. Where on earth is a president who is supposed to protect our property and life as the commander-in-chief of the defense forces of the Republic of Kenya, find the temerity to come and kill your children? It is an insult to the president. It is an insult to the country. It is an insult to our own nation. And also, I believe from my perspective, Miriam, that there are a lot of people in this country and even across counties. I saw Raila Odinga mandating political intolerance between the Honorable Simbarati and the Honorable James Ongwae of Kisi County. Ongwae is the outgoing governor. Simbarati is probably the incoming governor, where they have been insulting each other from morning to evening, calling each other goons, thieves, criminals, economic bandits, and all that. But this kind of political intolerance is not allowed in our country, Miriam. It's not even welcome. It's not even permissive for them to do what they are doing today. But I believe from my perspective, Miriam, the people that have been sending these insults and expletives to the people of Kenya, the people of Kenya should know that insults do not build roads. Insults do not put medicine in hospitals. Insults do not build better medical care. Insults do not buy maize from farmers at the National Cereals Board. Insults do not fight corruption cartels in this country. Insults do not build airports. Insults do not build ports. Insults do not protect the future of our children through education. Insults will never give university loans to students through help. Insults will never help counties build better from where they are to where we suppose them to be according to Vision 2030 and beyond. And insults even at local levels here in Meru. If you insult your opponent, he is not going to be saved by your insults. Nobody is going to benefit from that. There is no single road in the villages that will be built on insults. There is no water. Rhino is going to be fixed because of an insult. Please, from presidential to local levels, from even governors and senators, nobody has a monopoly for violence and insults in this country. Please do not spill violence and innuendos in your campaigns and propaganda. The kind of propaganda you continue smearing against your candidate is not going to save you after you fail your election at 9th of August election day. You are going to continue with your life. There are people who voted out governor for Kiambu, former governor for Kiambu, William Kabogo, businessman, smart guy, and all that. Replaced him with a goon, with Ferdinand Waititu. He's a goon, a man that stole billions of shillings from Kiambu County and There's no record of where Kabogo has been taken to court having stolen for 5 years from the residents of Kiambu. Kabogo used to run one of the robust healthcare services system in Kiambu County, especially Thika Level 5, where people from Ukambani and the counties of Makueni, Machakos, and as far as Garissa, Meru, Muranga, and Nyeri, and other Kiambu, on the other end, Laikipia, who used to come to Thika Level 5 to experience the kind of the services that they were jamming the hospital, Miriam. Today, that big hospital is nothing but a laughing stock. Today, we cannot insult leaders and smear campaign, gerrymandering, and also make sure that at the ballot, we present those insults for them to be voted in. There is no insult that is going to be voted in, no drums of violence that will be going to be voted in as you continue drumming them. Remember that we have a country to come back to. The next 6 hours as you campaign the members of parliament, senators, governors, and presidential candidates and MCAs. You have an opportunity to show a decent campaign. You have an opportunity to showcase a campaign based on agenda, a campaign based on deliverables, a campaign based on what you're going to do, the priorities of your administration, instead of, excuse me, Miriam, instead of insults. As I conclude on my point, Miriam, this country is not built on insults. This country is not built on propaganda, gerrymandering, and also hate for each other, Miriam. We are brothers and sisters. After 9th of August, whoever becomes the president of the Republic of Kenya, God for us all. As a country, whoever becomes the governor for Mombasa, Meru, and other places, Miriam, it is up to the voters to go. In the next 60 hours, Miriam, they have an opportunity to go and vote for the next leader of their generation, a leader that is going to represent their aspirations, dreams, and also the hope of our country, the hope of our county, the hope of a particular ward. If the people deem you to have insulted others and they are not going to vote for you, please wait for another 5 years so that you can also run your election, that it is about the agenda. If it is a national government, it's about the national agenda of the people of Kenya. If it's about the county, about the national, the county agenda of your people. If, for example, a man like William Ruto, who has also gone out of his way to make sure that he campaigns others through insults and insulting the head of state, how is he going to behave as a president? This is a man that will be insulting people from the pulpit. If he has used the pulpit for the last 4 years to call Raila Odinga Muganga and Mzee Kitendawili na Mchawi, if he has used that platform for the last 4 years, he is going to use the executive office of the president to do more harm to our country, divide us more than we are today, and also bring a lot of problems in this country, Miriam. I believe from my perspective, Miriam, a presidential office is not going to help you become better. It is going to continue revealing who you are as a person. The voters should not ignore that person that has gone out of his way to use even churches to send expletives and also insults to the people of Kenya and also their leaders and everyone that they support. If you insult Raila Odinga, you insult the many followers that follow him. If you insult William Ruto, the same case. For people even at local levels, please do not insult each other because of politics. Politics is a business that is coming to an end on 9th of August. If you have been taking money from a particular politician, from 10th, whether they win or not, they are not going to pick your phone calls. They are going to be talking with each other across the divide, across the political divide, so they can continue doing business and employing each other's children and wives and concubines as you continue suffering in your dusty village, where they want to fix roads, where they want to fix water, where they want to fix electricity. You are going to continue suffering, and then you are going to earn peanut again in another campaign season to call him Mheshimiwa, Your Excellency, and also the incoming 60th President of the Republic of Kenya. All that nonsense is coming to an end, Miriam, on 9th of August. Please be civil, behave, and in the next 50 to 60 hours, please vote for leaders that are going to take this country forward, your county forward, your constituency forward, and also your ward at ward level, constituency level, county, and also national. Please vote for leaders that are going to be progressive, leaders that are going to gang up and change the constitution so that we can send corruption cartels home, leaders that will bring back a form of BBI that is going to save this country. If we do not change our constitution, Miriam, then we would have been lost as a country, then we would have lost a big opportunity.
All right, Douglas.
The BBI, Miriam, that was criticized by William Ruto and co.
Okay, Douglas.
As you are going to vote, Miriam, let people go and vote for people that are going to also help their own country and grow our economies, help our communities, and also take our country forward, Miriam. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's just run quickly because we are out of time. We look at Kenya's constitution because I think this is very important as much as we are sitting here talking about chapter 6 of the Kenyan constitution, which I think is one of the most abused chapters in our constitution, among others. Now, on the Bill of Rights, we know chapter 4 of Kenya's constitution, the Bill of Rights. We do have Article 33, and that is on the freedom of expression, and this is found on part 2 of the chapter 4 of the Bill of Rights. So it says every person has a right to freedom of expression, which includes freedom to seek, receive, or impart information or ideas. B, freedom of artistic creativity, and C, academic freedom and freedom of scientific research. And then number 2 of that chapter 33, the right to freedom of expression does not extend to A, propaganda for war, B, incitement to violence, and C, hate speech, or D, advocacy of hatred that, number 1, constitutes ethnic incitement, vilification of others, or incitement to cause harm, or 2, is based on any ground of discrimination specified or contemplated in articles. So as much as Junet and Joho example, we are looking at this case, this video they shared, I think it violates this part of the Constitution. And of course, now Haji has ordered probe for this video. Apparently it was doctored. But even if that was said, as they purported that was said, they have no right to share these kinds of materials. You have no right to share, even if it was said, somebody said it, Raila said it, Ruto said it, whoever else said it. As a Kenyan, you have no right to share this kind of a content, and this will get you in trouble with the law. So even as we approach our elections with only 4 days to go, Kiptanui, I don't know, Onyango has left, Kiptanui and Gladwell. Your thoughts on this, even as we express ourselves, and whoever you want to vote for, your advice and caution to Kenyans.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you. Actually, I was just from another group in Joro, and people are spreading a lot of hate. And I was actually warning them that whoever say this and whoever is spreading are the same. You'll be charged in the same capacity. So it is my wake-up call. It is my advice to whoever, all of us who are using this social media, let us not spread hate. Let us spread love. Because the country will remain, this country will remain. As my brother Douglas has said, these politicians from Leven and gone back, they will no longer picking my phone calls. Maybe whatever the reason, we don't know. Maybe also they could have registered other lines. Maybe these lines which are used, these guys are using during campaigns and cheating us and sending us money for bundles, giving us 200 to insult each other and buying us bundles in terms of and will be switched off when they will become in office. Now, let us brace ourselves for this. A lot of disappointment. Whoever you are supporting might not win. What will happen? Life will not stop. So, Miriam, there is a lot of propaganda, there is a lot of hate, there is a lot of things which are happening between now and during the election day, which will be on Tuesday. It is my appeal to all of us, our viewers, and those who are listening to this great television. Desist yourself. This is from sharing. This is from spreading propaganda. This is from spreading hate, especially on hotspots like in Rift Valley where I come from. Those people who are actually in court now might be rotting in committee. I was telling one of the person whom we are in the same group in Joro Agenda, and he's also watching this television, to stop from spreading. He comes from Naswet, where the deployments of police is now spreading whatever it is being said in current, accusing the same member of parliament, saying, oh, these people are planning this and this and this. Now, the security apparatus, Miriam, are so watchful. And when you be arrested, Miriam, it will be you Like me, if I will be arrested today, it will be me and my family will be looking for money to bail me out. If I'm be convicted and be taken to jail, I will be eating half cooked food. I will no longer eating pizzas in town. Will no longer enjoy any freedom. So let us desist from this. Let us be brothers and sisters. For the last 4 years, when we finished election in 2017, after handshake up to now, we've been living in peace. Onyango, you've been supplying fish to Gladwell or to Kirimi or to Japan who comes from Central. These people from Central have been supplying Waru, have been supplying Biasi to Kisumu and these other parts, and Maunarok and some of these places. Kipngeno from Sururu, from Mauche, from Nashville has been supplying milk to people in Maunarok, to people in Kiingo, to people in Molo. Yeah. Kerubo has been in who reside in Molo, and is actually planting this managu and other traditional vegetables. Has been supplying to Atieno, has been supplying to Kamau, Chemutai, and all of this from 2017 up to now. What will happen? Why do you agree that why do you agree to be incited by these politicians to kill each other, to ban these houses? Let us be the same. Fruit farmer, not fruit farmer, fruit vendor in Molo town. You've been selling nyanya, you've been selling onions, you've been selling avocados to these people. What is happening is, what is it now that you'll agree to be incited so that to kill each other? Let us be brothers and sisters. The Bible tells us in Matthew that happy are those who are peacemakers, because they will be called the children of God. And nobody, Miriam, wants to be the children of Satan. All of us want to be children of God and to inherit the kingdom of heaven. Let us be peacemakers.
Okay. Thank you so much. Glad we'll end it for us.
Miriam, I always say that after election, our country won't shift from point A to point B. It will still remain where it was. And again, I always say this politician, the presidential aspirant and the rest, these are people who are asking us Kenyans to give them a job. So they are applying for a job vacant. As for example, if I'm going to apply for a job vacant, I can't go fighting my interviewers now. And we are the people who are actually interviewing them and know who will actually fit the office better. But now the funny thing, it is us Kenyans who are fighting for the people who are coming to ask us for a job. That's an irony, and it's high time Kenyans actually. I like the way somebody told me we are past some behaviors, and indeed we are past some behaviors. Throwing a stone at your neighbor, we are past that. We are all we want is just wake up on that 9th. Go to your polling station, vote, go home, wait for the results. May the best person win. And after the election, let's embrace the new government that is there. The same way we've been supporting the Ruto government that was then, we incorporated as Kenyans. The same way, let us cooperate, Miriam. Kenyans, Kenya will still remain there. We still need each other. After all, Raila doesn't know me. Ruto doesn't know me. But what we know them for is because they're coming to us as Kenyans in whole and as large, asking us to vote for them. So may the best person win, but at the end of it all, may we have a peaceful election, and this peaceful election will not be brought about them, but us as Kenyans, as individuals, telling your neighbor that say no to violence, cast your vote, go back home, wait for the results, and make sure that your brother and sister is up there, while actually queuing together with you and vote. That is the only way we'll make our Kenya great. That is the only way we have the Kenya we've always been wishing for, Miriam.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think at the end of the day, we all have a responsibility within ourselves, to our fellow citizens, and to this country. We must act responsibly. We do have a duty, and we owe it to our children and the future generations and this great country called Kenya. So if whatever you're going to say, it will not be for the promotion of peace, love, and unity, and togetherness, you don't have to say it. You don't have to share it. Hata kama umeiona and somebody else said it, and for you think it's funny and you want to share it, and you know very well it will not sit very well. And, with the peace and harmony of this country, you don't have to share it. Okay, so we do have a responsibility as well and a stake as far as having a peaceful country is concerned. So si kazi tu ya serikali, we all are stakeholders for us to have a peaceful election. And I've seen Kenyans traveling. And so you wonder, is it because I want to believe? Because these are concerns that have been raised that, there's been some, maybe people traveling because there's been some tensions and things like that. But I'm an optimist. I want to believe those who are traveling, they're traveling because they have to go vote where they're going. I would hedge to think, and I know it is a reality in some areas in this country, that Kenyans are traveling because they feel unsafe where they are. That is a very sad reality. And of course, the schools were closed abruptly on Tuesday because to make room for IABC to prepare, because a lot of these schools are used as polling stations. And I checked my son's, the report from school. And of course, we were told to go pick them, but we were not given the date where they should return. And that got me worried. Our children should be able to come home and then go back, because adults in this country should be able to just vote, sit in their houses, whatever decision that is made or the outcome, be able to respond to it in a way that does not spread panic. So the fact that they could not even be given a date when they should be resuming school made me sad, because that creates a situation of uncertainty, because people really don't know what will happen. But I want to believe that the security apparatus in this country and for the people who are responsible are doing all they can to ensure that Kenyans feel safe, Kenyans are safe, and everything will be okay. And that is our hope, and that is our prayer. Thank you so much for watching this morning. It's been a struggle for me. And I've heard also Douglas there has a flu just like me. Daniel did not join us today, but Kiptanui Savania, thank you so much. Jevan Karanja left a bit earlier, but thank you. Gladwell, thank you so much. And of course, Douglas Kirimi, thank you so much. Paul joined, but he was not able to participate. I think he's still experiencing some connection issues. My name is Miriam Ogotu. It has been a pleasure. Good morning.